Also, let's stay on the General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, Asiedu Nketia, who says that the NPP administration has lost credibility for blaming the John Mahama administration for Ghana's economic woes, reacting to the recent claims by the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, that partly the NDC is to blame for economic woes. Asiedu Nketia indicated that the Vice President, together with the economic management team, ought to resign by now for not fulfilling their promise to Ghanaians.
John Mahama didn't come back in 2020 or 2019 to do anything. You understand? So if after 6 years in office, you are still blaming predecessors, it means that you have no clue as to why you went into the elections to become a leader in the first place.
Were you expecting an apology from the Vice President to start off with?
Well, the person doesn't want to even admit where he's wrong. So you can't even proceed to be talking about apologies. You just leave him like a donkey who is crying that grass is blue. Because every Ghanaian knows that, he has lost credibility. And if we were in a well-functioning democracy, people like that should be leaving their offices.
You feel the Vice President should be resigning by now?
Because the things he has said, politics or democracy is about trust in our leadership. So if you are running a system where you cannot even trust your leaders, they say this today, tomorrow they say a different thing. Then how are we expected to trust in the solutions that they are prescribing?
The feeling of some is
because you need to accept the diagnosis, the causes of a disease before you take the medication. But if the person is talking about causes which are not actually the causes, it means that he will be prescribing the wrong medication for you. So that is why we have been saying that, look, the very set of economic managers who brought us into this mess cannot be relied upon to take us out of the mess. So before any IMF program or whatever can be swallowed by Ghanaians with all its hardship, Ghanaians must know that we have a new set of people whose word they can trust.
And you go to the extent of asking the Vice President to resign. Some say this is usual of any other politician. You promise, and you fail. So this is just one of such
when
cases.
you say something is black and it turns out to be white too many times, you have lost credibility, and you help yourself by resigning from the economic management team. He shouldn't be there at all. You understand? So because we are in a certain mess, and we have been told that we are bringing the IMF to help us to implement certain austerity measures that will take us out of the mess. This austerity will involve hardship and others. So you need leaders who will be able to convince the population that, look, these are the right set of measures that will take us out of where we are. And those leaders must be trustworthy. The people must have trust in them. So if you are dealing with leaders in whom the people have lost trust, the people will not accept it. And that is why you are seeing the turbulence you are seeing in the economy now, the labor front and the other thing, because the simple fact is that they can no longer trust in the word of government.
So staying with us here on The Pulse. When we return, we'll cross over to Parliament, where a lot is happening. The fate of the Dom Kwabena MP, Sarah Joseph, hangs in the balance. We'll tell you why the Privileges Committee is bent on declaring her seat vacant. It's all coming up here on The Pulse. Please stay.